How's it going, dudes? I mean, really, what else is there to say? The Vanilla Ice electronic rap game. It's time to go to the extreme as you get hooked on this mind-blowing title alongside an icon that's cool as ice. Good lord, you're still here after all that? The Vanilla Ice electronic rap game is the 1991 title that sees players place rap cards on the board to craft out hip-hoppin' rhymes that they'll have to rap out to friends. All while under the watchful eye of Mr. Ninja Rap himself, Vanilla Ice. This game is absolutely awful in pretty much every regard, which longtime viewers will already know thanks to its appearance in the Worst Board Game Themes video, as well as it qualifying for both Worst Board Game of All Time tournaments. But thanks to my glorious group of MPs, I've managed to get my hands on a physical copy of the game in order to make a playable digital version. And now that I have the full thing in my grasp, I can fully determine whether or not this game is actually as bad as I originally thought. The answer to that is yes, it honestly is somehow worse than I had originally thought, so with that in mind, I have quite the mission for today. Today, we're going to take the Iceman and run him through our usual categories. And after uncovering all the secrets that he holds, we're going to use our findings to answer one of life's greatest mysteries. Is the Virg the worst rap-themed board game of all time? Again, longtime viewers know that he really only has one competitor for that title, so let's jump right on into this rhyming romp by starting off with the game's design. If we were to take just one look at the front of the box on this one, you can probably tell approximately what decade they were trying to go for here on the style. Hey, the 90s called. They want to know how Enron is doing. What should I tell them? This beast is rocking a totally radical design. Bright yellows with some neon additions, sharp edges offset by a circle here or there, a ton of movement being conveyed. Yes sir, this thing's got the retro Taco Bell look down. The language leans into this too, carrying that too legit to quit way of speaking that is sure to lure the dollars right out of the pockets of teens everywhere. Yo, come rap with the posse, it's easy! Just cover up the pictures of Vanilla Ice on the game board by playing rap rhyme cards, then rap them out to the rhythm of the electronic beatbox mic? Does this come with a full-on guy? So the look of everything is on brand, but how's about the components themselves? What's the quality on offer here? Actually, the worst out of any game I own. Shockingly bad. The quality of this board is horrific. When I pulled it out of the box, my first thought was, did they make this out of paper? It's not, but it's so thin and fragile, it feels like it needs a handle with care sticker. Where did the budget go? The color printer? The other stuff isn't quite as bad. The cards are standard stock card material, the paper's made out of Take a Wild Guess, and Mike himself is made from the finest Taiwanese plastic on the market. It also doesn't work anymore, but I refuse to take points away for that as this guy is older than I am. Last thing to mention is that the box only has one big insert that you kind of just throw everything into. And fun fact, the board doesn't actually fit inside of there, so you kind of need to just put all of the other stuff in first and then try to finagle the board in over that, which is just, we'll call it innovative. Overall, yeah, between how everything is kind of just tossed in there, the low structural integrity of the box, and the worst board I've ever held in my hands, this might be the lowest quality board game I've ever seen. Two things to back that up. Yes, it is old, but this is a copy of the independently published Capital Punishment from 1971, and it is doing way better. And this is a drinking board game drawn on an actual sheet of paper that we dug out of the trash 2 years ago, and I am more confident in its structural integrity than this board's. I am also more confident in its ability to absolutely obliterate you. This game does not mess around. But just because the quality of the things are poor, doesn't mean that the quality of the game is poor. So let's take a look at the quirks behind the works and check out this Ice Ice Baby's rules. So if you've seen a couple of these solo game videos I've done, you'll know that the rules segment is usually the longest one. Most games have a lot of rules to cover, shocker, I know. Well, that might not end up being the case this time around, as this thing has a solid 3 total pages of rules. So we're going to be digging deep into each and every one so that we can fully understand how this masterfully complex game operates. To start, place all of the components around the board and shuffle the wrap cards. Alrighty, we just covered 2 out of 3 pages right there. Dang, we are making great time. Each player gets 7 wrap cards and keeps them secret, and the player left of the dealer goes first. On your turn, you can either start a new line of rhymes or play cards on an existing line if they also rhyme. That also being indicated by them having the same design in the background if you're a part of my premier illiteracy club. We've got flyers, but I'm not exactly sure what's on them. You can't start the same kind of rhyme on 2 different lines, but you can play as many cards of that rhyme that you have all at once. This means that you could fill an entire line on just one turn, but the only people that would be able to do that have skills comparable to the Iceman himself. The last rhyme to fill a line is worth 50 points instead of the standard 10, and every time that you fill out a line, you get to pick up Mike and rap that line out to your adoring crowd. We'll get to the quality of those raps in gameplay, but as for the rules, this does ensure that most people are likely to get at least 1 bar in at some point. After your turn is over, refill your hand back up to 7 cards and wait for your next turn. Whichever player has the most points when the board is filled wins and gets to rap out the entire board in their own sold-out concert. Oh, yeah, you wish. And that is it. Those are all of the rules. Every single one of them. Yeah, this is by far the shortest rules segment we've ever had for one of these. Probably because the part where they say how you play the game is 2 paragraphs long. So I guess with the rules already fully covered, let's get into the gameplay of this monster and see how it feels to sling those strings for the bling they bring. So, you know how Yoo-Hoos have to have chocolate drink on the side of the can because what they are serving can't legally be called milk? Yeah, they should have to do the same here because this legally cannot be described as rap. None of the base words lead into the rap cards with any consistency, so you are constantly having to figure out some bass-ackwards way that you can spin it in a way that has some semblance of flow. Like here, I've constructed this random full rhyme that you could run into in the game, and you tell me how this works as a bar. Dice was a girl, slice on her feet, twice at home, price, while the DJ revolves it. What am I supposed to do with that? And don't give me the white boy excuse either. Remember whose game we're playing here. On top of that, the actual game portion where you set up the rhymes is just...
Makes Candyland look like an action-adventure.
And that's all you do in the game. You play raps and then you rap plays. So with nothing else to look at, let's see if Milli Vanilli can soar his score and by 4 the most important category, the game's fun factor. Man, this really is a tough one. Gee, is blurting out the dumbest rhymes you've ever seen in your life to your friends fun? I don't know, does the grass grow? The dumb fun scale for this game is completely off any and all charts. Nowhere else are you gonna find this kind of nonsense on display, and the game thrives because of it. I'm sure everyone is already keenly aware of the ironic enjoyment scale by now, but when something is so bad that you enjoy it for being bad, that ultimately makes it a better product than something that is just not good and boring while doing it. A perfect example of this is the Mousetrap story I brought up in the Target the Game of Life video. The easier setup version of Mousetrap was a way worse game mechanically than Target, as it barely worked at all, but the enjoyment we got out of seeing that thing break over and over again was way higher than the utter dullness of what I think is still my brother's least favorite board game of all time. So when you have a game that is constructed from the ground up out of that nonsense, you've just stumbled across a paradox of a game that is simultaneously awful and amazing at the same time. Of course, if you are not a fan of that kind of nonsense though, this game has nothing to offer you. It absolutely cannot stand on its own. The ironic enjoyment is less of a crutch in this situation and more like a jetpack. Without it, it's not going anywhere, but with it, whoo boy, look at that baby fly! As such, those who would like this title are probably the freaks like me that really love a good bad thing. Doesn't matter how obtuse or poorly put together it is, that right there is part of the charm. Unfortunately, seeing as you've made it this far in, and especially if you've watched any of the other vids, you've most certainly contracted an ironic deficiency by now. You're going to need a steady supply of bad material or else you're gonna start getting droopy soon. As for those who won't enjoy this one, it's gonna be the people who see a bad thing as only a bad thing. They know what they want, and what they want is a good quality product. Hate to tell you guys, that ain't here. Regardless of which camp you fall into though, the enjoyment level of this beast is going to be directly tied to how much your group leans into it. There's pretty much two ways that this game can go. Come on everybody, roll and rig, catch a groove, gig, break down big, mash it up ice, portly pig. Come on everybody! Roll and rig! Catch a groove! Gig! Break down! Big! Mash it up ice! Portly pig! This man is worth at least $20 million. And with every part of the game deeply analyzed, we should now be able to give the final answer to the question we posed way back at the start of the video. Is the Virg the worst rap-themed board game of all time? I'm going to have to say no, because no matter how many problems this thing has, it is 1, winnable, and 2, not haunted by the title character like a certain fiend out there. Although I must say, if it was haunted by Vanilla Ice, I think that would make it better. What exactly did you expect from this game when you saw what we were covering here? Rich storytelling, a deep and immersive world? Brother, it's the Vanilla Ice electronic rap game. The game is horrible, absolutely abysmal, from its rules to its gameplay to what might be some of the worst component quality I've seen. Heck, since Mike is broken too, mine isn't even electronic anymore. I've just got the Vanilla Ice industrial rap game. But quality was never the main draw with this one. Just the idea behind playing the Vanilla Ice electronic rap game is so obtuse that it sinks the game so far into the ground that it pops out the other side. It is a fantastic game. I think this might be one of the few celebrity games out there where it being tied to a specific person improves the game overall. Because if this was just the electronic rap game, boring, nonsensical, a waste of my time. But the Vanilla Ice electronic rap game, sensational, inspirational, a monument to human progress. The game is terrible, but the game is amazing. And this continues to be my go-to example for just because something is bad doesn't mean it can't be fun. Which overall, I'd say is a good theme for this entire channel. Truly, some inspiring stuff. In fact, this game has been such an inspiration to me that I have decided to go ahead and develop the spiritual successor to the title, the Limp Bizkit electronic rap game. Join my generation and do things my way as we keep the fun rollin', Air Raid Vehicle. Signing off for the Thrilla of Vanilla, I am KamSandwich. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. A special thank you to my suppliers, staff, and chefs over at the deli, as well as the media preservers helping me get these rare games ported for the public to enjoy. If you'd like to join the crew, you can take a look using the link in the description below.